Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
As we grow older and hopefully wiser, we slowly realize that wearing a $300 or a $30 watch, they both show the same time. Amen. Good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America, followed by a patriot. With our Pledge of Allegiance on a Tuesday, May 22, give us a call. And thank you very much, Kate Smith, and God bless America. I hope he will. Thank you so much. Hey, by the way, right now, let's go to the phone line. Zeb at the Ranch, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, with a great big get ready for a road trip, that is, with an R, on all their tires. Check it out today at all 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, and some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, good morning. You're on the air with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Well, good morning, sir.
Well, hello.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Wheels. And right now, our weather forecast brought to everybody by K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 west of Hebron. Right there, smack dab on the Burley Paul Highway. You couldn't miss it. Absolutely the best of rental on tools and equipment and finish any project. I know if you're like I am and Deanne and everybody who are all outside, getting things ready to look good. Power rakes, rototillers, post hole diggers. You can get a PhD without going to college. And don't forget, you can stop over to K&R Rental and talk to Roger and the crew for all the tools and equipment you need. Or give them a call, 678-3122. Right now, here's the weather.
Here's your weather forecast for this Tuesday, and we are expecting partly cloudy skies for today. However, this afternoon, maybe some storm action, slight chance of rain showers, thunderstorms. Hail and gusty winds are also possible as these storm cells move through our area. We are expecting a high of 72. Winds could gust as high as possible as 21 miles an hour. Scattered rain showers and thunderstorms for tonight with a low of 51. For tomorrow, that's going to continue. Chance of showers and thunderstorms off and on throughout the day. Mostly cloudy skies with a high of 71. That could continue for tomorrow night with a low of 51. By Thursday, slight chance of showers in the morning and also by the afternoon, partly sunny skies. High close to 80. Thursday night, 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms with a low of 52. And then for Friday, sunny skies and 82. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Holy cow, I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm sick of all this thunder showers and possible high winds and rain, and oh my goodness sakes. Weather forecast brought to you by K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Hebron. Roger and the gang get over there early and open the doors at 7 o'clock in the morning, and they offer their rental tools and equipment for both the long and the short term. Get a hold of them today. K&R Rental on the Burley Paul Highway, 678-3122. Don't forget, Thursday is sale day at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, with Merv May, Cade Broggy, Lance Udy. The sale that works for you. Absolutely. Don't forget. And sale time probably about 10:30 in Thursday morning. Don't forget to give them a call for cattle consignments and sale information, 678-9411. Burley Livestock Sale coming up on Thursday. Don't you miss it. And also our thanks go out to our friends with Daryl's Cleaners. Hello, Kevin and Cindy. I took some clothes in there yesterday. They always do such a phenomenal job for everybody, and their clothes always come out looking brand spanking new. I urge you to stop in there. I urge you to visit with the best, and they are. They can take care of all your curtain as far as the cleaning is concerned and all the bed sheets. And by the way, if you don't have time to wash your clothes, they can do that too. Daryl's Cleaners, 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. Stop in and see them today. We have got a lot to talk about today, and I urge you to give us a call. My audience is so doggone nice and friendly and caring, and I've had calls. I can't even name all the people, nor would I try, because I don't want to eliminate anybody or forget someone. But thank you for all your well wishes from my wonderful wife, Deanne. And as soon as we hear more information, we will pass it on to our friends out there in Radio Land. So thank you so much for your kindness and your caring. We really appreciate you. Ramsey Heating and Electric appreciates you too, and they're located at, of course, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. The number to call, 678-0459, and they get there early in the morning at 7:30 till 5 Monday through Friday. You know, their slogan is, we provide warm winters and cool summers. It's true. All your heating, cooling, and electrical needs are right there at Ramsey Heating and Electric, with a very experienced staff to serve you. Get a hold of them today, and that's Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue, 678-0459. And real quick, before we get into our first topic of the day, Denny's Restaurant, I just absolutely am so blessed to have Thomas and his crew provide our home for Zeb at the Lunch Bunch, Zeb's Lunch Bunch, I should say, every month. They are phenomenal. The food is great, and the service is impeccable. They really take care of all their customers at 611 North Overland in Burley. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, and or dinner, anytime, all the time you stop in. Great menu choices, delicious food. At Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner, 611 Overland in Burley. You know, I got to be really blunt and honest about this, but the Democratic Party right now is so lost in hatred. I mean, honestly, if there's Democrats listening out there, and I know they do, they take notes and then they send me nasty emails, which is fine. But they're so lost in hatred of Donald Trump and the Trump supporters, and they are absolutely cringing in corners and tearing their hair out and chewing on their knuckles because this administration is having success. The Democrats are so lost, and it's almost humorous that they, the Democrats, are wanting your vote in November for what? For more people to hate Donald Trump and this administration. The Democrats have come out, and some of the Democrats have said, oh, no, we're not spreading any more hate against Trump. No, we've left that alone, and now we're coming out with ideas and goals for the American public that we, the Democrats, can fix health care. Wait a minute, put your foot on the brake, stop the bus. Really? After the absolute fiasco and absolute bonfire of Obamacare, they, the Democrats, all of a sudden have a cure for health care? Oh, you want to bet? The whole thing is headed for single payer. You know that, I know that, and the Democrats are going to eventually aim their arrows at that, single payer insurance. And then they come out, and a guy was on television last night representing the Democratic Party, and he said, oh, we're really going to come out and talk about jobs. We're going to talk about the economy. Whoa. Wait a minute. You're going to talk about jobs and you're going to talk about the economy? Well, there are plenty of jobs. I drove around yesterday and saw signs on almost every business, help wanted. Help wanted, help wanted, help wanted, help wanted. Don't give me this garbage about how you're going to create more jobs. We don't need to create more jobs. We need to create more workers that are going to get up off the couch, put the bonbons down, turn off the TV, and say, I'm going to be responsible for my own life. I'm not going to be a leech on society and a drag on the welfare system. I'm going to get my butt to work. We need more workers. We do not need, right at this juncture, more jobs. And if they're going to use that ploy to try to get your votes in November, it just shows the idiocy and incompetency of what their so-called platform is. They, the Democrats, are saying they have the red to blue program. In other words, get rid of the Republicans, get rid of the right, and we'll go back to blue. I don't want to go back to blue. I don't want to go back to Obama. I don't want to go back to somewhat of what would have happened with Hillary. I don't want that. I don't think you do either. The red program, if you will, is working. Let me say that again. It felt good. The red program is working, so why switch and go back to a dim Democratic approach? Caller, stay by the phone. I will get right to you. I promise. I've got to pay a couple of bills. I want to remind everybody about our friends over at Pomerel Place, and they are our friends. They really provide a lot for you if you're a senior at home alone, with the safety hazards and the poor nutrition and the missed medication. You can't do that. No, that's not good. Senior Living at Pomerel Place offers the ability for seniors to maintain their independence both safely and comfortably. I urge you to call them today at 677-8212. That number again, 677-8212. And they're going to have a special Father's Day celebration on June 16th at Pomerel Place, a place for senior living at 1301 Bennett Street in Burley, 677-8212. Caller, good morning. How are you?
I am good, even better than you.
Oh, good.
Okay. You know, the Democratic Party, in some ways, is a lot better organized than the Republican Party.
How so?
But they're on the wrong side of the law and history.
How so? How are they better organized? Explain that to me. How are they better organized?
Okay. If you're a Democrat, say a congressman, and you're elected to go to the United States Senate or Congress, when you get there, I'm sure, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm sure they are well indoctrinated that you will do what we say or you're not going to live here.
Yeah, but is that really being better informed and better in control of the situation? No, it is not. That's just following in lockstep a message of hate, 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 hate.
Yes, but they're well organized at it.
Well, you know, what's well organized? Keith, wait a minute. You're a dear friend, but we got to talk about this. They're not well organized in anything. Being well organized would be suiting what the needs are for their constituents and working for that. But going back and following in lockstep like a little robot and hate, hate this, hate, hate this, hate, hate that, that's not being organized at all.
Well, what would you call it?
I'd call it chaotic confusion.
Well, it is, but they're organized at it.
You're going to stick with that, aren't you? Okay.
Well, I think they, you know, not a lot of these things that get passed, not one single Democratic vote was passed.
Well, okay, let me lay this out really simple and give me a short answer. Don't ramble on this because I got commercials. What would cause you right now to go to the polls and even have an inkling of voting anybody, I don't care if it's a county commissioner or anybody else, anybody on the Democratic ticket? Why would you want to switch away from a program that is working for America and vote in a blue representative of a hate party?
Can't do it, but sorry about your luck, but I just wouldn't do it.
I know you wouldn't.
And anybody else with any common sense wouldn't do it either.
See, now, right there you've opened up the Pandora's box. You're assuming that Democrats have common sense.
I I didn't say that. You did.
You doggone right I did, and I'm proud of it. You have a good day, my dear friend.
I'm proud to hear you say it, and I'm on your side.
Okay, take care, Keith. Thank you. All right. Thank you much. All right.
Admit that you're right.
Thanks, Keith. God bless. Yeah, I just don't understand, if the boat's floating and you're going down the river, why would you want to take a shotgun and shoot the bottom of the boat out? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. And we're going to have a lot of Democrats that are going to try to sway you over to change things from red to blue this fall. You can bet on that. And I guarantee you I'm going to be like a cat to a plate of milk telling you what kind of people they are. I know a lot of them. And some of them are very sinister characters. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't go away. I want to remind everybody about Dino's Septic Service over in Rupert. Oh, I tell you what, we talked to Ken last Thursday, I guess it was. And septic tank pumping and backhoe service, water and sewer lines installed, sewer and sink drain lines cleaned, liquid waste removal. They do the job that you don't want to do. Absolutely. They are in there. Fast, fair, friendly service. Take care of you. Call them at 436-6526 or in Burley 678-1638. They got that big old truck that says Smells Cargo on the way. Dino's Septic Service, you give them a call. They are absolutely the best. Caller, stand by. I'll be right there. I've got to just tell everybody, too, about Nick Greenwell and his staff. They are also the very best at what they do at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. I'm going to give you the number right now because I really urge you to give them a call for an appointment. 678-1191. I mean, they help me so much with all the exercises and, of course, the miles and miles that I walked in that hydrotherapy pool. They can and they will help you. Please call today for an appointment. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 678-1191, helping you get back to being you. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think what Keith was trying to say was that the Democrat Party's like the Star Wars deal. They're like the Borg. when they go to sleep at night, they plug in. People put in their brain what they're supposed to say and their talking points, and they wake up the next morning, and that's what they do.
Oh, it's something like, I am a Democrat. I am programmed for failure. I will lead you down the road to failure. Is that what you're talking about?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Okay.
And where they're wanting, I know the Democrats, like you know it, and most all, people out there with any brain cells know that the Democrats want a one-payer system for health care.
Bingo.
And so we've already got a one-payer system for health care. Well, two of them, basically. We got the VA and we got Medicare.
Yeah.
And if you want to see something that is so messed up, wait till you get your Medicare medical statements. For those that are younger that don't quite understand it, it is so confusing. You basically have to, every time I get one, I call my insurance guy and I says, okay, you're educated in this, come explain this to me.
Okay, now right there I'm going to interrupt you, and I'm going to say yesterday in my mail I got a 10-page on both sides Medicare report, and I'm just like you. You have to sit down, you have to put your glasses on, put your feet up and get comfy because it's going to be a long time till you understand all that garbage they send you.
Exactly. I just got one the other day myself.
Yes.
And I'm going, what?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. Well, there's one other point, though, I want to cover with you, and that's the point that one of the Democrats on TV yesterday made absolutely no sense to me, and maybe I'm overlooking something, so you, Doug, the professor of common sense, I know can clear the air for me, okay? Why would the Democrats want to run on a job issue when right now unemployment is at the lowest ever in the history of the United States, and it's not job issues, it's trying to find the workers? I think they're looking at this thing completely twisted.
I know they are. And look at the Democrat, what was it, back in Pennsylvania or something in that special election?
Yeah.
Where he sided with Trump, the Democrat did. and run on, I'm going to do this for you and that. And he won over Republicans.
I remember that guy. He was a little kind of a small guy with glasses. Yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
Yeah, he was basically saying, hey, I'm a Republican in a Democrat name.
But
and he won because of that.
What is the Democratic platform, though, Doug?
All I can see in the Democratic platform is Russia, 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 resist, 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 raise taxes, open borders, sanctuary cities.
And hate Trump.
Yeah, hate Trump.
And if that's any kind of a platform that is going to do service to help America and Americans get better and prosper more, I'd sure as heck like to see what it is.
Well, when has the Democrats done anything to help America?
Don't get me on the calendar because I can't remember the date.
I can't either.
Okay.
The last Democrat that done anything that I can remember to help America was JFK.
I was a big supporter, even though I was a junior in high school, of John F. Kennedy, and I know my mother and father were also. But when you start looking at the Democratic Party and the demise of what they really stood for as far as working Americans, etc., I think it died back in the late 60s, early 70s.
I think so, too. I really do. In fact, JFK, if he was alive today, the Democratic Party would not have him.
I would go this far, and I may be criticized for this, but so be it. I would say today, with the politics as it is, that John F. Kennedy would win as a Republican.
Yes. Yeah, because he's a Democrat that cut taxes.
Yeah.
And look what happened to the economy.
Always good to hear from you, my friend. So now it's time for the daily Doug Martin 15-second review. Go ahead.
Which is going to be 18 seconds.
Oh, my goodness sakes.
Anyway, everybody, let's do what we can for senior centers. And also, too, the Minidoka Senior Center has a raffle going on, and I want to thank the gentleman that heard it on the radio, stopped in and bought tickets. So I have tickets here for sale, 3 for $5.
All right.
New John Deere lawnmower, patio set, barbecue grill, and a wooden, well-built picnic table.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
No, they're not giving that away till Christmas.
Oh, I thought you were going to plant it now and watch it grow. Thanks, Doug.
Anyway, God bless.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't forget, our friends with Ramsey Heating and Electric Analytics, Airvana is defined as the ultimate level of comfort that you'll achieve with the presence of a new Lennox home comfort system. And when you buy a Lennox system at Ramsey Heating and Electric, you can get up to $1,700 in rebates. Airvana is just another way to make you feel better. So call Ramsey Heating and Electric at 678-0459 or visit them at Ramsey'sOnline.com. There you go. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb.
Hello, Tony.
I think one big solution to all this problem we have is we need to set up a station down there at the border, and as these people come in, you will hand them a slip, and you would say, you will report to this business at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and there'll be no ifs, ands, or buts. And if you don't show up, you go back across the border.
How are you going to catch them?
That's another thing.
How are you going to catch them? If you put them on their own merit to return, they're not going to return. They're going to be sheltered in sanctuary cities, and we're stuck paying the bill.
Boy, we're really in trouble over this. You know, this country's been overregulated, and there's so many jobs out there now because of the deregulations. There shouldn't be any reason why people can't support themselves when they come here. You know, my family came over with just a shirt, the clothes on their back, and they did just about anything, worse than dirty jobs, to put food on the table.
Yeah.
Not these people.
Yeah.
They come here, In about 6 months, they're driving brand-new vehicles.
Well, okay, Tony, but let's forget all about the illegal aliens or the immigrants or anyone of that category. Let's just talk about getting Americans to go back to work. You know as well as I do, we've got deadbeats and leeches in the system that are sitting back and enjoying the fruits of our labors and receiving money on the form of a welfare check every month. They are too lazy to get up off the couch. They're too lazy to go fend for themselves. No sense of self-responsibility. Those are the people that we need to get back in the workforce.
Isn't there a source that keeping their eye on things like this?
I think the government sources are turning blind eyes and deaf ears, Tony. You know that as well as I do.
Well, at some point, this country's going to go broke if we keep going the way we're going.
Amen. It's not far away, let me tell you. Tony, take care of yourself and say hello to Mary for us this morning, please.
Deanna's okay. I just found out about it this morning on your program.
Well, we're doing a lot of praying, and we're doing a lot of, hopefully, good reports as soon as we hear. So I'll let you know, I promise. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Zach.
All right, buddy, thanks.
Okay.
Caller, I'll be right there. Don't you dare go away. Don't hang up. Don't pass go, and don't collect $200 out of get out of jail free card. I'll be right there. Barry Equipment and Rentals, sales, service, and parts with our dear friends at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley with Juan. Hello, Juan, my buddy, football coach and a good guy. And then also at 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, Eli, the old Green Bay Packer fan like I am, and also up in Nampa. Equipment rentals, retail equipment sales. They've got all the Bobcat excavators, new and used, for sale or rent, all shapes and sizes. They've got all the Walker lawnmowers. You can mow up a storm. You'll be the hit of the neighborhood. They want you to come over and mow with a Walker mower. Barry Equipment and Rentals, sales, service, and parts. Burley, Twin Falls, and Nampa. You stop in and see them today. Caller, good morning. Thank you.
Again, you know, it seems like the only really friend I have is Tony, because he's old like I am, and he's wise. And so, of course, that makes me wise also.
Okay.
The point is, in 1960, that was the first time I had a chance to vote. And I, even just not being that interested in politics, figured it out. And the reason why I did not like John Kennedy was because he wanted to put in a thing called Medicare.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad I got it now, but it was going to take a lot of money out of people's pockets and everything. In other words, at that point, when my parents got old, I was going to take care of them. And I thought that was my responsibility, and that's when it all started to go downhill right then and there. Don't you agree?
Well, you know, I look back at the Democratic Party from when I was growing up, and I remember one man that I met when I was a sophomore in high school, and I'll bet you remember this name, Keith. Hubert Humphrey. Remember him?
Yes. I really despise that man.
Yeah, well, wait a minute. Just hear me out, though. He was from Minnesota, Hubert Humphrey, and his politics and his ideas and his goals as a Democrat absolutely would be accepted today. I mean, the guy was before his time, but they don't have Democrats today like they did back in the 60s and 70s at all. They're gone. They're a dying breed. They saddled their last horse and ran away. It's just not the same anymore. The Democratic Party at one time was a party of caring. They were a party of showing that they wanted to help their constituents. Please tell me what they stand for today.
I don't know, but that was the beginning of socialism, when you take the rest of the country and try to take care of the rest of the country.
Yeah.
In other words, it was everybody was going to be taken care of. So right then, right after Kennedy was elected and everything, people didn't worry about putting money away for savings for their old age. the government was going to take care of them.
But there were some Democrats.
There's something wrong.
Well, there were some Democrats back in that era that you could trust. I mean, as I'm not saying that I would have voted that way, but I'm just saying they were trustworthy people. The Kennedy, Jack Kennedy, and Happy Hubert Humphrey. That's what they called him, Happy Hubert. And I mean, there were other good ones too. But now the party is nothing more than hate and despicable animosity against Trump. It's absolutely fallen apart at the seams.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to watch this Paulette Jordan.
Oh, boy.
And I wish that I appreciate the information you gathered last week, or just yesterday, I believe it was, that, the things that she stood for and everything, and I would like to know more about her because I can't read.
Keith, I will tell you this. And I maintain I will honestly do this for you and all my listeners. As we go along, week by week, I am going to have a complete synopsis and review of this woman because I don't trust her. I don't trust the money that's coming in to help her, and I certainly don't trust her politics. So I'll have more. I got to run. Keith, thank you so much for your call. God bless.
You're an attaboy for that.
All right, my friend. Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye.
I want to remind you about Scott Gano Landscaping and Tree Trimming. I almost said tree service, but I meant to say tree trimming service. There you go, at 336 South, 450 west of Heyburn. I'll tell you, his crew, they are zip, 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 zip like water bugs. They're all over the area serving everybody and getting all the tree trimming done, with the winds we've had and everything. Oh, boy, the trees have been falling apart. Tree and shrub damage. They can help. They do all the trimming. And now is the time to get your fruit trees trimmed, too. Scott and his crew can get the job done. All you need to do is call them on the cell phone 431-8733 or the office phone 438-2485. They're good. They're good. You give them a call today. Scott Gano Landscaping and Tree Trimming. And the number again, 431-8733. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Oh, by the way, I've got to get this in real quick so I don't forget. Redder's Showcase is having a really big deal for Memorial Day. Yep, tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. They're going to have a special hours designated, 10 to 4, for their really big Memorial Day sale. I got to say that again without slurring the words. A really big Memorial Day sale. That came out perfect. And, boy, they're going to have all kinds of special low prices on Maytag, Whirlpool, Amana, KitchenAid, Speed Queen. Oh, yeah. And the big mattress gallery with Serta and Tempur-Pedic, etc. And they've got 6 months, same as cash on approved credit. Oh, my goodness, 12 months. Same as cash on approved credit. Oh, yes, check it out. Big Memorial Day sale at Redder's Showcase, 2611 Overland in Burley. Your turn. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. On another note this morning, I'll bet you're going to be just tickled pink to hear this. Barack and Michelle Obama have signed a great big multi-million-dollar contract, and they're going to go into the TV movie business with Netflix. Oh, yes. Doesn't that make you feel warm and fuzzy that they, Barack and Michelle, are going to make movies that they deem are friendly for our time and educational for our time, and you can doggone sure bet they're going to be of a progressive nature leaning to the far left. Oh, yes, they will. But I just thought I'd bring it out as they stood up at a podium the other day after they had inked their contract with Netflix. They both put their lips together in a big, warm, friendly kiss. Kind of makes you sick, doesn't it? And said that they were going to make movies, Barack and Michelle. I know that makes you feel warm and fuzzy this morning, so just hold on to something so you don't just fly away into outer space with happiness. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Does anybody else share, I got to ask you this question real quick. Do you share the same opinion that I do when you go into a fast food drive-up lane and you ask for what you want, that they many times don't understand what you're saying? This happened to me recently. We went in there and I said, I would like to have a cheeseburger with nothing else on it. And the girl said, you want a plain cheeseburger, is that correct? I said, yes, with nothing else on it. And then she came back and said, do you want cheese on that burger? Now, that led me to sit there and stare at their board with their microphone and wonder if I was talking to someone that was understanding the language. I said, yes, a plain cheeseburger. But then I made a huge mistake. And I said, Ruby was with us. By the way, Ruby is our mini Aussie Corgi cross little dog that runs our family. And she loves ice cream. And I said, may I please have a plain ice cream sundae? The girl came back and said, do you want any toppings on that sundae? I said, no, I would like a plain ice cream sundae. And then the girl came back and said, so you want a plain ice cream cone? At that juncture, I decided, with no one behind me, and fortunately a wide enough driveway that I could drive off, I did. Because I thought, I don't want to do business with these people that are incapable of understanding. Have you ever had that happen to you? Please give me a call. Please let me know I'm not the only one that is frustrated with a lack of understanding for what you want to eat. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want a plain ice cream sundae. Oh, do you want toppings on that? No. Do you, and I want a plain ice cream sundae. Oh, you want a plain ice cream cone. Okay. Airvana is defined as the ultimate level of comfort you'll achieve with the presence of a new Lennox home comfort system. And when you buy a new Lennox system at Ramsey Heating and Electric, you can get up to $1,700 in rebates. Airvana is just another way to make you feel better, so call Ramsey Heating and Electric today at 678-0459 or visit them online at ramseysonline.com. Does anybody else have that problem, or is it just saved for me? Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. I had an experience similar to what you were talking about.
Okay.
I went up to a certain fast food restaurant. I'm not going to say the name.
Don't dare.
And I said, you see, I was just craving just a plain biscuit, you know?
Yeah.
And I asked them for a biscuit, and they was like, you want bacon or sausage? And I said, no, just a biscuit. And it took like 10 tries to get them to understand I wanted just a regular plain biscuit. No eggs, no cheese, no sausage, just a biscuit.
And they couldn't figure that out?
No. I drove away, and I was just thinking, just kind of the same thing that was in that show, Forrest Gump, came to my mind. Stupid is as stupid does.
All right, thank you for your call. I got another one waiting. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Catch you later.
All right, caller, good morning. You're on the air. Do you want a plain ice cream sundae, or do you want strawberries on that?
Plain.
Oh, okay.
And this is why they get minimum wage.
At $15 an hour, I'd say that's pretty good pay for asking if I want any topping on my sundae.
This is a good argument against the $15 an hour for an entry-level job.
Have you ever had that happen, or am I the only one?
I've had it happen. I get up there and I look in the bag and say, okay, this isn't what I ordered.
Yeah.
Well, yes, it is. I says, no. So then I sit there and they refix it and the line gets longer and longer. So, that's why they have entry-level jobs for people to learn. And some of those intercoms, you can't understand what they're saying back to you anyway.
Doug, you have hit the nail on the head, my dear friend. And here's an imitation of what it sounds like when they get on and they talk real fast. Now, here, audience, hold on. This is nothing wrong with your radio or my equipment. Would you like some topping on that ice cream sundae? That's what it sounds like.
I know it. There was a comedian out there, I can't remember who it was, had a comedy routine about doing a drive-up. He'd go in and order something, like he ordered a coffee and a pie, one of those pies.
Yeah.
Would you like fries with that?
I could not believe this, so I said I want a plain cheeseburger. Well, do you want any toppings on that cheeseburger, like ketchup or mustard or anything? No, I want a plain cheeseburger. Well, do you want cheese on that cheeseburger? Holy cow, about that time my German temper wanted to crawl right through the microphone system.
Anyway, it was good to hear you, and say hi to your lovely wife.
I will, buddy. Thank you so much for your call. Appreciate it. Time for the weather forecast, and the weather brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids with Dr. Pickup and Dr. Mitchell. And maybe we ought to have them get a hold of all the fast food restaurants and ask, do you want topping on your ice cream sundae? No. Anyway, be sure and get a hold of them today. They're located behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room, and the number to call for a hearing screening, 312-0957. They are dedicated to serving people with hearing loss of all ages and their families, and they're so professional. Caller, I'll be there in a moment, because right now Mount Harrison Audiology brings you the weather. Here's Gina.
Here's your weather forecast for this Tuesday, and we are expecting partly cloudy skies for today. However, this afternoon, maybe some storm action, slight chance of rain showers, thunderstorms. Hail and gusty winds are also possible as these storm cells move through our area. We are expecting a high of 72. Winds could gust as high as possible as 21 miles an hour. Woo. Scattered rain showers and thunderstorms for tonight with a low of 51. For tomorrow, that's going to continue. Chance of showers and thunderstorms off and on throughout the day. Mostly cloudy skies with a high of 71. That could continue for tomorrow night with a low of 51. By Thursday, slight chance of showers in the morning and also by the afternoon, partly sunny skies. High close to 80. Thursday night, 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms with a low of 52. And then for Friday, sunny skies and 82. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. And, of course, trust your hearing health to Dr. Pickup and Dr. Mitchell over at Mount Harrison Audiology, where they are ready to take your appointment and help you. 312-0957. You give them a call today. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Thank you. Caller, good morning.
Yeah. Hello?
I'm waiting for you. Go ahead, please.
Oh, I wasn't sure if I had you or not. I'm sorry. Hey, Zeb, there's just two things I want to mention. First of all, I agree with you wholeheartedly on the fast food ordering. Try a restaurant where it's written down. My sister, yesterday, we went to a restaurant, and she ordered a beef brisket. It came back out, and this is a beef brisket taco, came back out as a chicken taco.
Oh.
Sent it back. It came back as a barbecue beef taco.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, where was the waitress during all this?
Down on the ticket as beef brisket. So get a load of that.
Oh.
Not even just saying it.
It's a good thing that you were in person, or you never know. You might have ended up with a filet mignon, for heaven's sakes.
Oh, yeah, why didn't they do that?
Thank you for your...
And one other quick question I had.
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Oh, up on Highland, there are these apartment complexes that are being built right now. I don't know if you're aware of them.
And my first thought was, are they bringing refugees into the town?
I don't know, and I had an email.
Apartment complexes.
I had an email regarding that. I had an email regarding those complexes, and if anybody out there knows more information about it, give us a call. I have not yet ascertained that information, but I'm going to check it out, and I thank you for your call on that, and hopefully we can find out.
Oh, yeah.
All right?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I forgot to ask her if she wanted a topping on that plain ice cream sundae or not. I forgot to ask. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Well, I got something that has nothing to do with topping, but it tops everything you've talked about.
Oh, I doubt it, but go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
All right, buddy.
I was at a restaurant, a truck stop, actually, and I ordered biscuits and gravy. I love biscuits and gravy.
So does Deanne.
But anyway, I get my order there, and I can't hardly wait to dig into it. Took one bite out of it and said, what the heck? You know what they'd done?
No.
They had put oatmeal on my biscuits.
You are trying to tell me that you ordered biscuits and gravy and they gave you the greatest disservice to mankind, oatmeal?
Yes, and I ate oatmeal.
You sent it back, did you not?
Well, yes, and the waitress was very apologetic. She said the cook was new and everything, and she got me taken care of, and you know, I would go back there again, I think.
Not for biscuits and oatmeal, I wouldn't.
Well, do I win?
Yeah, I guess it's an ugly concept. Yeah, you'd win, all right. Thank you. I got another call coming in. Keith, thank you so much for your call. Appreciate it. Wheels, we're getting a little feedback on these calls. Caller, go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Today at the Senior Junction, we're having spaghetti and meatballs and yummy dessert. Tomorrow is ham and beans. But I got some other good news. Saturday is the Senior Market Day at the Senior Junction on Saturday. Come in and enjoy the market.
All right. Hey, Joe, let me ask you something. You've been around a long time. Have you ever gone into a restaurant and ordered biscuits and gravy and got biscuits and oatmeal?
No way.
Okay. Thanks, Joe. That answers that.
Biscuits and gravy, but I want it to be biscuits and gravy.
There you go. Senior Junction on Overland with my buddy Joe. Thank you, Joe, for calling in this morning.
Have a good day. Bye.
Okay. I'll have a good breakfast, too. Thank you. Oh, you know, really, that would be nothing worse to start my day off on the wrong foot. Here's your order, sir. Biscuits and oatmeal. But really, if there's any fast food drive-in employers out there, tell your people to think a little bit about the orders. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Quickly, go ahead.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
I got a quick one for you. It came as a takeout. There was one day I ordered it was just plain ordinary pepperoni. I mean, that's simple. Right. Any Neanderthal could do it. You know, even a caveman could do it.
Okay.
Pepperoni pizza, and here come the order. Knock, knock on the door. Open it, and there they were with a Canadian bacon and anchovies.
Anchovies?
If anybody knows me, I cannot take anchovies.
No.
I hate it.
No.
And they said, well, you can have this free of charge. And I said, no, take it back. I want a pepperoni pizza.
Did you get it?
And I got all back. Everything turned out good on it.
Okay.
But still, I mean, this just goes with them not anybody getting the orders right.
Amen.
And not having the brains to be able to decipher what they're told.
But no human being anywhere at any time should ever be subjected to anchovies on a pizza.
No way.
Okay. Hey, God bless you for your call. Thank you much.
Yeah, you have a great day, bud.
All right, thank you. Anchovies, no. You're going to destroy a beautiful piece of work if you put that on a pizza. Hey, don't forget, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers are telling you to get ready for a road trip. That's right, you're going to see Aunt Martha and Uncle Fred down in Gunnison, Colorado, or whatever the case might be. Well, get there, turn around, come back safe on the tires that they have for the road trip, like the Ultra Z900 for your cars, all-season traction, and up to possibly an 80,000-mile warranty. Ooh, wow! You better check these tires out and all the great tire buys at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. 7 locations serving you with the best in brake service, the best in front-end alignment, shocks and struts and batteries, and always the best in service to you. They really care about their customers. Stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Yup, the best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Right now, we're going to take a little break. Wheels is going to roll us. I love that. Up to music and CBS News. I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Thank you. Look out, there's a hazardous tree. Oh, good morning, and welcome back. Zeb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations saying get ready for a road trip. They've got all your tires, everything over there. You check it out. Drive safely with your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. And don't forget, too, some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's find out some good words about our friends at Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho,
You know, I keep telling you about the dumpsters. They've got dumpsters in various sizes, and you call them up at 734-6969, and you say, I need a dumpster. Well, what size do you need? I don't know. I got a lot of junk. Well, I do, and I'd probably need the big size. They drop it off on your location, you fill it up, and then they come get it. It's easy to get rid of all your garbage and junk. Western Waste Services, always at your disposal, 734-6969. You call them today. We're going to have our guest with us in just a moment, but I first of all also want to remind you about Joel Heward, his family, and staff serving you and your family at Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert. Absolutely, with the highest ethical standards, with unquestioned integrity, as they care for you and your family when there's the passing of a loved one. Please get a hold of them today. They can and they will help you at 436-5636 Hanson Mortuary in Rupert, and Joel Heward also serving you and your family at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. Right now, let's go to the phone line, and we have with us the CEO of the Coalition for a Prosperous America. Sounds really good to me. Michael Stumo. How are you, Michael?
I'm great. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, it's a treat to have you. What are you going to tell us about free trade and China and all the goodies the Trump administration is doing? Are you happy with what they're doing or not?
Well, we're not really happy. The Chinese won this last round of negotiation by soft promises to buy what they would already buy in commodities and natural gas. And unless something changes, they appear to be let off the hook for decades-long systematic intellectual property theft and becoming a high-tech superpower. So we're concerned that the free traders in the administration got the upper hand and let China off the hook this time.
Okay, let China off the hook. Explain that to me. And what are you talking about, the free traders in this administration? Be more definitive.
Sure. Secretary Mnuchin and National Economic Council Director Larry Kudlow have been opposed to the gaining of leverage to get tough on China. You may recall that there was a large report released last month that showed and documented how China had stolen technology from the U.S. companies, forced them to get companies in China their key technology, that some of which is national security and infrastructure and economic security based. And so the $50 billion in tariffs against the Chinese goods that benefited from that technology were threatened. But now with this deal this weekend, they appear to, for the moment, have been getting away with their technology theft, even as they promised to buy commodities and natural gas that they were already going to buy.
Okay, well, Michael, I'm a layman when it comes to understanding all you understand about trade, but I've got some obvious questions. We've known for a long time that China's a bad guy, if you want to, or a bad player. They're going to be only watching out for themselves and their own interests. So what's new about this? I mean, it didn't happen just through the Trump administration. It's been going on for a long time.
That's right. And the past administrations with Bush and Obama considered China a global partner. The Trump administration has shifted to China being a strategic competitor, conducting predatory economics. So they had really recognized what was going on, whereas prior administrations and the press had their head in the sand. And it looked like they really were starting to do something about it, with the $50 billion in tariffs to respond to China's state-directed capitalism, and how they sort of softballed it, or how would I say, sort of let them off the hook right now. We thought we had an opportunity to address China, we still do, but this weekend's announcement was kind of a backtracking by the administration, by Kudlow and Mnuchin, who didn't really want to do anything. They're just working more for the Wall Street folks.
Okay, now let me just stop you right there and ask this. As it stands today, and Wheels, you're going to have to operate that gain over there for the feedback on these calls. As it stands today, are you satisfied or dissatisfied with the appointment of Mnuchin and what he's done, or are you demanding that we get somebody in there that's a better player for us?
We more demand that Trump turns this over to his trade team, which is Trade Ambassador Robert Lighthizer, the Director of the Office of Trade and Manufacturing Policy in the White House, who is Peter Navarro, and then Wilbur Ross, the Department of Commerce. They're the ones that have their, their strategy right. And Treasury, we would not be wanting, if I were king, I would not put Mnuchin in charge of these particular talks.
What about the past administration, Michael, Obama? Now, you're going to talk with me about Obama, and I'm going to be really negative. I did not like him. I did not like his policies. I didn't like his ideology, and I certainly didn't like his trade practices at all. How does this administration stack up right now with the poker chips against the Obama administration?
Oh, certainly on trade, the Obama administration was an abject failure. They had Goldman Sachs people running the Treasury and the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative, and we're not understanding that we live in a world of strategic traders and still think we live in a free trade world, so they get rolled on trade and our trade deficit increased. And Trump's trade team recognizes we are in a strategic trade world, but he did not hire consistently. So, as I mentioned, Mnuchin and Kudlow are gaining a bit of the upper hand and are a bit more Obama-like than the Lighthizer, Navarro, and Ross folks in the administration.
Now, I noticed on your cheat sheet you were talking about the state of California that absolutely is benefiting from recent actions on trade. Why should I be concerned about this? Because California is planning on seceding from the Union anyway.
Oh, well, I wrote an op-ed in the LA Daily Times in California because I had just spoken there. That is not Trump country, and that op-ed was to show why Californians should like Trump's trade policy, because actually the congressional Democrats that opposed Obama on trade have more in common with Trump than Californians think they do. So it was a message targeted to Californians that they should not dislike Trump as much as they do.
You know, really, when you look at the situation in California, and Michael, you're closer to these facts and figures and knowledge on the subject than most anybody else, but California is griping and complaining and trying to impose sanctuary cities and sanctuary policies, etc. And they, according to your sheet, they employ over 1.3 million manufacturing workers. Man, they've got everything handed to them. Why in the world would they let a bunch of idiots like Governor Jerry Brown and others want to have a secession policy and start all over from scratch? These people don't make any sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah, they focus on the wrong things. I mean, we built this country by becoming a manufacturing superpower and being productive in agriculture. And when we founded our country, Britain was the great manufacturing superpower. We displaced them through strategic trade following Alexander Hamilton. That was not a free trade country. The strategic trade with tariffs and focused on building our industry rather than import cheap goods from Europe. And we displaced Europe, or UK, as the biggest economy in the world 70 years later. We're losing it because we've forgotten those lessons, and California is a big manufacturing state, and they can actually get better wages for their poor folks who have trouble finding affordable housing if they allow manufacturing to thrive and are more supportive of the Trump trade team's policies.
Michael, one thought I had, I mentioned at first hour this morning, some of the Democrats are coming out in front of TV screens and they're saying, well, if we're elected in November, we'll create more jobs. Wait a minute. Michael, you know the answer to this, again, better than most people. We don't need more jobs. What we need are more workers. We need more people that qualify and are self-responsible to get up off the couch and go to work. That's what we need. We don't need more jobs right now, do we?
Yeah, the jobs we need more jobs of higher quality jobs. The jobs we've been created are low-wage, low-hour jobs. In other words, $12 an hour, 18-hour-a-week Frappuccino server jobs. That's been the trend as we've been deindustrializing the U.S. with free trade. So the jobs created are poor quality. We do have a lot of jobs. We do still have a low labor force participation rate, so there are people sitting on the sidelines. We do need more worker training, but I would note that China kicked our butt without worker training. They did other things.
Yeah.
So the Democrats need to focus on balancing trade and manufacturing and supporting a strategic trade policy so we can grow our advanced manufacturing, semiconductors, robotics, all these things. And fix the trade deficit. They're not there yet, but certainly we have a lot of jobs. It's just the job quality which is the issue.
Okay, will this turn into, in your opinion, a red versus blue or a blue wave come November? Are they really advanced on the Democratic Party as to how to change this thing around with good ideas, or is it just a bunch of blather?
Well, certainly on trade, trade doesn't cut cleanly down party lines. So there's some Republicans that are bad on trade and some Democrats bad and some good on each side. So I don't know that trade's going to be the deciding factor, though with Trump it could be. But I am hesitant to believe there's going to be a blue wave. As Trump's popularity has been rising recently, it's a long time between now and November. But there could be, but the issues that would drive a blue wave are different. They're outside my lane. They're not the ones I work on.
You know, when you talk about trade policies, one final thought about the Trans-Pacific Partnership, etc. What would you consider a good trade policy like TPP or the changes of it or NAFTA, whatever? Have we gone so far in one direction that we can't turn that ship around?
The modern trade agreement era from NAFTA to now has been a big distraction. There has been no clear good or they really haven't driven what's going on. Really, and it's a subject of a different conversation, but foreign investors and foreign governments drive the dollar price too high, and that's our problem, is a high dollar, which makes all our agricultural and manufacturing goods and services too expensive. That drives the trade deficit, and neither party has gotten that yet. My organization is working hard to find a mechanism to gently push the dollar back to a competitive price. That's when we balance trade. We can supercharge exports and jobs and minimize artificially cheap imports. And that's really the solution, but we're not there yet.
Now, tell me a little bit about the Coalition for a Prosperous America. What basically do you do every day you unlock the door at your office?
We find a way to get to a strategic trade policy, balance U.S. trade, fix the trade deficit, and reclaim our status as an economic superpower that can lead the world rather than diminishing, a diminishing service economy, kind of a country with low-quality jobs. So we have manufacturing, agriculture, and labor. We have both Republicans and Democrats on the Trump trade transition team, but we have people who are Democrats, too. So it's a bipartisan group, but we're supporting Trump generally in trade.
I'm going to put your name at the top of the list for a person to call regarding these matters. Michael Stumo, the CEO of Coalition for a Prosperous America. Thank you for being on the program, and please come back.
Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure.
All right, sir. Thank you very, very much. That man knows all about trade and where we are, where we should be, and where we're going, and I appreciate him sharing with us this morning on Zeb at the Ranch. We've got a whole bunch of things to remind you of. Father's Day is right around the corner, and a lot of activities. I had this note sent to me, and I want to be sure and emphasize this. There will be a Father's Day barbecue at the Rupert Senior Center. They're going to be doing the cooking at the center for all dads, $10 tickets, and get your hamburgers on the grill with all the trimmings, and it starts at 5 p.m. on June 16th. Pick up your tickets at the Rupert Senior Center at 702 11th Street in Rupert, or call 436-9107. I've got time for a couple of calls. Give me a jingle on the landline at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call while I am waiting for your call. Don't forget Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Heyburn. You know, what can I say? Dr. Bill and his whole staff, they are committed to the well-being and the care for all of your animals. Mixed animal practice, meaning big or small. They love them all and take care of them all. Don't forget that. And don't forget to have the proper identification for your pets. I mean, if they run off, somebody finds them, hey, they can call you. Don't forget to talk to Ark Animal Hospital about what you need. Ark Animal Hospital, again, 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Heyburn, 678-1177. They do have the warm hearts for the cold noses. Absolutely. Also, real quick, as I'm waiting for your phone call that I just know is coming in, Airvana is defined as the ultimate level of comfort that you'll achieve with the presence of a new Lennox home comfort system. When you buy a new Lennox system at Ramsey Heating and Electric, you can get up to $1,700 in rebates. Airvana is just another way to make you feel better. So call Ramsey Heating and Electric at 678-0459 or go to the website ramseysonline.com. There you go. Calls about any subject we've talked about this morning, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I don't know if you heard this story or not, but Representative Steve King of Iowa, I like his politics, and I think he is absolutely on the right track. He's introduced a potential bill that would make it a 5-year prison term for any official, any elected official like a mayor or whatever, who aid and abet illegal aliens by warning them of an impending ICE raid. Like what happened in Oakland, California, where the mayor warned everybody, oh, there's going to be an ICE raid, you better hide, you better hide. She absolutely created a system and an atmosphere to where somebody from the Immigration and Customs Enforcement could have got shot, killed, or whatever. And I absolutely agree with him that there should be a 5-year prison term for mayors basically helping and abetting illegal aliens to hide. And I think 5-year prison term would be just right. And don't make any cuts on it. 5 years. Goodbye. Adios. Put on the orange jumpsuit. You're out of here. What are your thoughts? Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And one other quick story. I was watching television this morning. We turned it on at about 4:10 after we got up, had a cup of coffee, and there was a doctor on television, and I think she hit a home run with me and my thinking when it comes to students in schools that some people think are ADHD. And the schools and the administrators are way, way too quick to start medication for students they think are ADHD. And this doctor came out and said, wait a minute, we're not letting the kids run at recess. We're not letting them exercise. We've taken the physical education out of our schools. We're not really burning off a lot of that energy or those calories or that power and strength so they can be more attentive in the classroom. You can't blame kids for being kids. And absolutely, this lady, this doctor, I thought was 100% right. There needs to be a reinstating of physical education classes. You can't expect those kids to sit there in a desk for all school day and not have like a volcano. They want to go, wow, let me out of here. And to all of a sudden stay, well, they've got to have medicine. Why, they've got to be calmed down. Why, they've got to be treated for ADHD, I think is wrong. Absolutely wrong. What are your thoughts? And by the way, a lot of that medicine that they're prescribing has been found to be very, very harmful and even deadly in many instances. As a parent, what are your thoughts? I think the kids ought to go out. There's schools that are saying, now, Johnny and Susie, when you go out to recess, all you can do is go stand over there by that corner of the building. Now, Freddie and Joyce, you go over and stand over there on the other corner of the building. Enjoy the sunshine. Don't run around. Somebody might get hurt. Baloney. There's another word I wanted to use, but I can't. But let the kids play. Let them get rid of that energy. If they rip their jeans or whatever, so what? They're kids, for heaven's sakes. And they'll come into the school and be much more attentive. I'll guarantee it. Okay, let's see what else have we got here to tell you about. Oh, Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more. They are having a great big Memorial Day savings. No money down, no interest on 12 months, Friday, Saturday, and Monday only. Listen to this. They've got all kinds of mattresses on sale where you're going to save a lot of money. And don't forget, you can save up to 40% on all their furniture. And they've got all kinds of goodies like, the 5-piece dining sets at reduced prices. The prices you'll never see again for a long time. These are really money-saving Memorial Day savings at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more. $459 Overland and Burley with Jeff and the whole crew. All the furniture, mattresses, accessories, everything at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more. Memorial Day savings. You stop in and see them today. Really good folks. I got time for a call. Give me a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget, too, our friends at Let's Ride. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Get your motor cranked up and going, boy. I mean, if you've got a four-wheeler, Idaho is too beautiful not to see the great outdoors. And at Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, believe me, they have got all the four-wheelers and the side-by-sides. They got a showroom that you're going to say to yourself, how did they get all that stuff in here? And then a great big accessory department for everything you may need. It's right there at Let's Ride. And right behind, they've got a great big service department to keep your machines running. Absolutely the best doggone service department around. Randy and Nick and the whole crew over there at Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24, between Rupert and the World, where the fun is sold. You stop in and see those good folks today. Okay? Well, my, it is time to go via the phone line right now to a lovely lady, and she knows all about gardening, always has, always will, and she is known as the lovely Miss Vicki at Vicki's Country Garden, 185 South, 600 West of Paul. Good morning, Vicki. Is she there, Wheels? Hello, Vicki.
She is there, sir.
All right.
Here I am.
You're scaring me by not answering me. How are you? And Wheels, we are red pistol hot in my headsets. You're going to have to ride that gain and stay with it because it's way too hot. Thank you. Vicki, what's going on over at Vicki's Country Garden today?
Oh, well, we're just getting ready for another day. Nothing exciting other than just another day in paradise here.
Another day in paradise. She said, well, I'm going to tell you about a letter I got. I got a letter, an email from a lady that says, do I need to spray my trees every spring, or can I do it every other year or whatever? I don't know the answer to that, so I'm turning it over to you.
Well, if she's talking about fruit trees, yes, she needs to spray them every spring plus throughout the summer to take care of the bugs and the fungus and that type of thing to keep from getting the bugs in the fruit. If she's just talking about her basic shade trees, flowering trees, that kind of thing, a good dormant oil isn't going to hurt. But the simplest way on the big trees that's not fruit-bearing trees is to put down the systemic once a year, and that keeps the aphid and a lot of the bugs and the borers and all that kind of stuff out of the trees. It's just the simpler way. You don't have to spray as much that way.
Really, have you ever sat down and thought to yourself, Vicki, how many bugs that are detrimental to your gardens and your trees and everything, how many doggone bugs are there anyway?
There is a lot, and I mean everybody, like with the borers, there's a borer for every tree, and he has a different name. There's a bronze birch borer, there's a green ash borer, there's fruit tree borers, there's all kinds of things. So I mean, we didn't have all of them. We used to have ash borer and that type of thing, but I think they must have notified all their relatives and had them come visit.
Well, that's what I was wondering.
We've got a whole bunch of borers now. Plus, we've got all the different. The green aphid and the black aphid and the peach aphid, and there's a million of things out there, but there's a lot of chemicals that'll take care of all of those by just spraying once or twice a year. That can kind of take care of a bunch of that.
Wow. How do you keep up on all this stuff? I mean, here you are, you're running Vicki's Country Garden for 21 years. I mean, what do you do? Do you have to take a course in bugology, or what do you do?
Well, I do go to a lot of the seminars and that type of thing, my company's put on that teach us about the new chemicals and what they do and that type of thing. You just kind of have to stay up on it because there's always something new out there, but they always take away one chemical and bring out a different one, so you have to be able to know what they're replacing everything with. And, of course, as we all know, they took Durazban away and diazinon away, and now they've pulled 7 off the market, and it's like, okay, now we're down to the ones that only last a few days. You just spray a lot more often now.
Let me ask you about...
Supposedly.
Let me ask you about that, Vicki, and we talked about it last year. I remember vividly we were talking about government intrusion and involvement in saying what you can do and can't do for healthy crops. I mean, are they to the point where it's Big Brother with a thumb on everything, or is there a light at the end of the tunnel? What's going on here?
Well, in the gardening situation, a lot of it is careless people causing problems, suing companies. And that's why they start making them take these products off the market. Not necessarily so much as the government, as some people abuse, they don't pay attention. We lost one chemical because some lady sued one of the companies because she sprayed her kid with the chemical or something, and it's like, really?
Oh, my.
But, I mean, it's things like that. Plus, and now all that does is give the government the incentive to jump in on it.
Yeah.
And say, this isn't safe. We're going to protect you. If you're not smart enough to protect yourself, we're going to protect you.
So basically, one dumb person can screw it up for the rest of the people.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. I mean, common sense is basically, and on the back of all your chemicals, if you read the labels, they all tell you, wear protective clothing, wear glasses, take precautions, that type of thing, and, you don't turn around with a sprayer going and spray the person standing next to you. That's not necessarily a good thing, unless they're plumb full of bugs, I guess. I don't know.
Well, another question I've got is in regards to the old song back in the 60s, There's a Fungus Among Us. What about all the fungi? Are we having more of that and different varieties today, more so than before, or what's going on here?
Oh, yeah, the fungus, but there's more of it around. It's coming in, of course, we bring a lot of plants that are coming into the state from out of state, like from Oregon and Washington and that type of thing, back east and that have more humidity and have more, the fungus and that type, and they come in on the trees and stuff sometimes. Just airborne type spores that are coming into us. We're not having the harsh, tough, cold winters that always kept them under control, or we just didn't ever notice them before. And I haven't quite decided if it's a little bit of both. No cold weather, and a lot of us just didn't realize what we had. We just thought the leaves had funny spots on them.
When you talk about something like fungus and fungus problems, and I'm not trying to be facetious at all, I mean, what creates and causes the negativity of a fungus? I mean, what are the factors of creating a fungus that can hurt trees, crops, etc.?
Well, a lot of it is humidity. The humidity and then the warm temperatures, and the humidity stays down in the plant, and it starts to breed a mold type situation. And I think a lot of it, too, is everybody sprinkles everything. We've got so much water coming into the air, coming across our plants because of the sprinkling, the overhead watering and that type of thing, and it keeps that humidity on those plants a lot more than the surface irrigation always did. Mm-hmm. And it's just a breeding ground for mold and fungus at that point in time.
When you tell people what to look for, I mean, what are they supposed to do? Go out and say, well, I got a funny little black something on my leaves or whatever. How do they detect if they've got problems like this?
Well, you can usually tell on a lot of times it'll affect the blossom on plants. The blooms won't open right. They'll get kind of a brown, they just start to open and then they just kind of lay over and die. And that can be a root fungus that's going on something like that. A lot of times you get the spots on the leaves. Sometimes you can take a leaf and hold it up to a bright light, and you shouldn't see spots in that leaf. You shouldn't see, that's spores in that leaf. If you hold it up to a bright light and as you're looking through it, a lot of times you can see where fungus is starting, because you'll see different little rings, different little spots in that leaf that shouldn't be there. Should be just a normal solid leaf.
Well, now, Deanne handed me a note about you over at Vicky's Country Garden. You've got the chemicals for the sod web worms. What the heck is a sod web worm?
Well, it's exactly that. It's a stupid little tiny white worm that eats the grass right at the root line.
Oh.
The roots right off. And so if you've got the brown spots in your yard, most people think it's the fact that their sprinklers aren't working or that they have a drought problem on that, or it's a dry spot.
Yeah.
But before you start throwing a lot of water on it, go out and test that grass. If it pulls up real easy and there's no root on it, you've got a bug that's eating it off.
It sounds to me like it's a never-ending battle. Are we winning or losing?
I'll guarantee you it is a never-ending battle. We're going to be fighting this kind of stuff from here. Sod web got started in here, in this area, probably 10 years ago.
Wow.
And it hasn't gotten any better. That little white butterfly that flies across your lawn, when you see that little guy, that cute little butterfly is dropping eggs on your lawn.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
And that is where that's your sod webworm.
So it's kind of like a bombardier that opened the bomb bays and it's letting out all the bad stuff.
Yep. And there are chemicals that you can put on, they're granular. Some of them are, and some of our spraying guys know how to put the sprays down that'll take care of that too. But there is granulated chemical that you can put down that will stop that, and they recommend on sod web to put it down on around Mother's Day and around the 4th of July. That's the two hatches that seem to come out. That's when the eggs hatch and the worms start to eat. But if you keep watering those spots thinking it's just dry, it allows them to just eat steady then.
Holy smokes, I mean...
body structure can't handle hot and dry.
Okay.
So they're going to eat at night unless you're watering heavy. And then they can eat all the way around the clock. So.
Holy cow. I mean, we're talking about a war on our lawns. We're talking about a war on our gardens. We're talking a war on our flower beds. I'm going to start wearing a military helmet here to the radio station.
That's about where it's getting, I'll tell you. But if everybody's just aware of the time frame to put stuff down, that helps a lot. I mean, you can save a lot of headache by just putting your chemicals on at the proper time.
Well, Vicki, though, is it worse today for some reason than it was 10, 20 years ago or even longer ago in gardening and lawn care? I mean, why does it seem like it's a worsening problem?
Well, I don't really know why. It just seems like we're just picking up a lot more stuff that we never ever saw before. I'm sure it's due to a lot of, like I said, incoming plants from other areas, that type of thing. You know, back east they have different bugs and diseases that we have out here. So as plants come into our area from, say, Minnesota and those kind of places, you never know. I mean, they're supposed to be bug-free. We get certification on them that there's no bugs on them, but you never know. There might be something in them.
Yeah.
You just never know, and it's just coming in that way. You got a lot of trucks that are hauling through the area that, can come off of some of that, come off of tires and things of that nature. It only takes a little bit of one little bug to get in here, and those little bugs can do a lot of damage. They lay a lot of eggs. And get things started, unfortunately.
I had another little letter, and this lady says, my husband and I moved into Magic Valley about 2 years ago. And I'm giving you a synopsis of her letter, and she says, I've never in my life grown a garden. And she says, I had my husband dig up a garden, and she says, I've planted things, and things are growing, she said. But how do I know when they're ready to be harvested and picked? And I thought, we get this kind of a question every year, so why don't you go through that a little bit?
Well, it kind of depends on the crops that you have. I mean, radishes and that, they grow really fast. Don't let them grow too long, because then they get hot and they get kind of woody and they're not good anymore. So
right.
Just kind of go out and pull one once in a while and check it and see if it's about the size you figure it's ready to eat. Carrots take a little longer. There again, you're going to be thinning them. Check them that way. Beans and stuff, of course, you can see the beans hanging on there. Kind of just read on your packaging that you're planting, and it'll give you a kind of a synopsis of days from seeding until harvest. It'll give you 75 days or 65 days or something to that effect. And so kind of figure your time frame at that point in time. Just start watching the garden and seeing what it's doing. Potatoes, again, you can kind of, after they bloom, you want to give them, a month or so to set on some spuds, and depends on what size you want to eat them. If you want the little ones or the bigger ones.
So let me interrupt you and ask you a question right there. So you can, if they have a potato, quote unquote, you can start eating the potatoes and harvesting the potatoes and maybe disrupt the rest of their longevity as far as growth is concerned and eat them at a certain time.
Yeah, you can. I mean, a lot of people like the little tiny new potatoes.
Yeah.
And so, as long, you're not putting anything in the ground with them that's going to harm anything. And so, yeah, you can eat them at pretty much at any stage. And you can usually kind of dig down to the side of the potato plant and kind of get a feel for how big the potatoes are in there. You don't have to pull the whole root up.
Okay.
Matter of fact, they have potato bags out that you can just keep growing in layers, and you can reach in at the bottom and pull the potatoes and not affect the layers on up above it. I mean, they've come up with all kinds of new things like that.
And one last thought, and you talked about this last week and the week also before, and that's on watering. We have had a weather forecast here in the valley of almost every single day for the last couple of weeks. Well, possible thunder showers in the afternoon. Some of the rain has come down in buckets, and there's been hail and everything else. What about the watering in addition to what Mother Nature's dropping on us?
Well, I guarantee you don't be doing too much watering with these storms coming through. I mean, unless they're missing you completely. I still say your best bet, to know whether to water or not, is to go out in your garden, just dig down a couple of 3 inches in your soil, and if you've got some good moisture there, you're good to go. Don't water just because, I watered last Tuesday, I'm going to water today.
Yeah.
I mean, if we've had, all this rain, you're going to rot some stuff off and get in trouble. It's better to grow it a little dry right now where it's a little cooler on the night, with the temperatures and with these rains coming through at night. It's better to keep them just a little bit on the dry side so that they don't start developing root fungus and that type of thing, or dampen off in the ground on you.
Okay, now here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for da-da-da-da-da-da. I can't afford an orchestra, so we had to fake it. It's time for Vicky's tip of the week.
Well, my tip for the week is if you want to keep the weeding down in your gardens, you don't want to spend all day, every day out there fighting with the weeds. Get your gardens planted. Come in and see us. We have the good weed mat that you can cut it to fit your garden in between your rows. It warms the ground, lets your plants grow great, stops the weeds from growing, and it saves a lot of hoeing and a lot of fighting of the weeds. So come in and talk to us, and we'll show you what our weed fabric is and what it can do.
All righty. Now, once again, quickly, your hours that you're open, and tell everybody where you're located.
Okay, our hours right now are 9 to 6, Monday through Saturday, and we're open on Sunday, 11 to 3. We will be open on Memorial Day, 10 to 3, and we are on the Burley-Paul Highway.
You can visit with the guru of gardening high on the mountaintop at Vicky's Country Garden at 185 South, 600 West of Paul, 438-5663. Does that sum it up, Vicky?
That does, and we still got lots of garden supplies, so if you got in trouble with the rains, come see us. We can help you fill those holes back in.
I hope you have a blessed week, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday.
All righty. Thanks, Deb.
Thank you, Vicky. Vicky's Country Garden. I love that lady. She is phenomenal. 21 years in business, Vicky's Country Garden. Thank you for being on the radio with me this morning. We appreciate it. Holy cow. We have got a weather forecast coming up next, and I'm so sick and tired of hearing, well, we might have a thunder shower at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's see what it's going to be. Weather brought to you by Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company. They've been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. These people are really good. They're really smart. They're really talented. And they really can help you, your family, and your business. Tax return preparation, tax planning, retirement planning, business consulting. Please, please, they have offices in Burley and Rupert, and they're ready to serve you. Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
your weather forecast for this Tuesday, and we are expecting partly cloudy skies for today. However, this afternoon, maybe some storm action, slight chance of rain showers, thunderstorms. Hail and gusty winds are also possible as these storm cells move through our area. We are expecting a high of 72. Winds could gust as high as possible as 21 miles an hour. Scattered rain showers and thunderstorms for tonight with a low of 51. For tomorrow, that's going to continue. Chance of showers and thunderstorms off and on throughout the day. Mostly cloudy skies with a high of 71. That could continue for tomorrow night with a low of 51. By Thursday, slight chance of showers in the morning and also by the afternoon, partly sunny skies. High close to 80. Thursday night, 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms with a low of 52. And then for Friday, sunny skies and 82. That's your weather forecast for Zep at the Ranch.
Boy, I like that Friday forecast. I would just love Gina to get on the air some morning and say, weather forecast, sunny and mild, 75. That sounds good. Okay. Anyhow, the weather brought to you by Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. And they can help so many people in so many different businesses, whether they're starting a business or a partnership, or perhaps wanting to hire more employees. Please contact them today. As I said earlier, they've been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company, with offices in Burley and Rupert. Really, really good people. How about a call or two at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a jingle on the landline. I would love to visit with you. I want to remind you while I'm waiting for your call, I know you're dialing in right now, is that today is the second day of a 4-part series that we're having with Frosty Woldridge at 10:30. Very well received. Yesterday I had quite a few compliments about illegal immigration and refugees coming into this country and the perfect storm that this is creating by having all these people flood in here. And part 2 will be at 10:30 this morning. Want to remind you, too, about Cameron and Siemens Insurance, life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, and employee benefits, all of this and so much more as they serve you and your family and your business at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Now, the number to call the folks that are really accessible and devoted to serving you, 436-4424. I urge you to call. These are good people. 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'm chuckling because yesterday, and for those out there in the audience that might do this kind of activity, why? Give me a call and let me know if you're a vapor. What? I saw a kid yesterday. This kid couldn't have been more than 17 or 18 years old, walking along with what I assumed was his mother, and he had some kind of a funny-looking little wicker bill in his hand that looked almost like a snorkel, and he kept sticking that in his mouth and going, poo, and blowing out a vapor, if you will. What is the big deal? I mean, this kid could not have been more than 16 or 17 years old, unless my old eyes are deceiving me. But what kind of a satisfaction do you get out of that? I don't understand. And to have this funny-looking little gizmo that he kept putting in his mouth, like I said, it looked like a snorkel that had broke off, and he kept going, ooh, and he looked so happy and so content. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Let me ask Wheels. Wheels, are you a vapor? Are you there? Yeah, are you there?
I am, sir.
Okay, you're supposed to wear your headsets.
I am. My ears just get sweaty sometimes.
I don't care about your ears getting sweaty. It's a hard life. Somebody's got to do it. Do you vape?
I do, yes.
You do? Why?
It was just something that I picked up from some friends when we were hanging out a long time ago, actually. And,
do you use one of those funny-looking gizmos that looks like a snorkel and stick that in your mouth?
No, mine doesn't look like a snorkel. It kind of looks like a little cube.
What?
It looks like a little cube. It's like a box. It's a little box.
And you think that it satisfies you for whatever your needs are by doing that?
No, actually, I'm slowly trying to quit. I don't try to use it as much, but yeah, it was something that...
Is there a taste to that stuff, the vaping or the vapors, or tell me about it? I'm an old man.
Okay, so, yeah, when it comes to vaping, before I used to, smoke cigarettes, of course, just to be honest, and I thought cigarettes were terrible. Cigarettes were terrible anyways. And so I went to vaping because my friend started vaping, and I liked it because of the flavor.
What do those things cost, those vaping snorkels?
They can cost anywhere between $30, and it can go up to as much as $200.
You would actually spend $200 on some little piece of paraphernalia like that?
To be honest with you, since I've done vaping, I've probably saved more money vaping rather than going out and buying a carton of cigarettes.
What do you have to fill them up with?
You just fill it up with the vape juice. You can buy
vape juice.
Yeah, I just call it that because that's the easiest way.
What is it? Kind of a liquid or something?
It is. It's kind of like how can I explain?
Well, real quick, but I mean, do you set that dude on fire or something to get the smoke? What happens here?
No, you buy a coil, and the coil has like
a coil
in it.
A coil.
And it has cotton in it, and the cotton absorbs all the juice, and so when you go to hit it, instead of like a cigarette that you would light it with the lighter, with the vape, it's electronic, so you have two batteries, and the batteries.
Oh, batteries.
Yeah.
So in this snorkel, you got a juice, and you got a whole bunch of stuff interacting, and then all of a sudden you sit back and go, ah.
To be honest, I don't find it too bad. Okay. Like I said, to be honest, I've probably saved a little bit more money on that.
Have you thought about just chewing gum?
I have, yes.
Oh, okay.
I still chew gum and everything, periodically.
Okay.
But it was just something I had picked up.
All right.
From friends, and so I'm trying to get away from all of it. I really need a change.
All right, Wheels. Listen, put your headsets back on. Don't forget Redder's Showcase with a great big Memorial Day sale tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Special hours on Monday, 10 to 4. Yeah, they're going to be open next Monday on Memorial Day. And 6 months, same as cash on approved credit. They've got all kinds of great items. Maytag, Whirlpool, Amana, KitchenAid, and wow, what a mattress gallery with Serta, Tempur-Pedic, and all the others. Ooh, you better not miss this. Great big Memorial Day sale, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and special hours on Monday, 10 to 4. You check it out. Redder's Showcase, 2611 Overland in Burley. Right now, we're going to head for the news, and guess who's back? Dr. History is just walked in the door at 10:06. Wheels, take it away. Oh, good morning, and welcome back to hour number 3 as Zeb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. Get ready for a road trip. Leave Dodge City. Let's get out and have some fun. And don't forget, they've got all the tires for you at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, along with some of our great advertisers, including Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. By the way, Airvana is defined as the ultimate level of comfort you'll achieve with the presence of a new Lennox home comfort system. Don't forget, a new Lennox system at Ramsey Heating and Electric. You can get up to $1,700 in rebates. Airvana, just another way to make you feel better. So call Ramsey Heating and Electric at 678-0459 or visit visit them at Ramsey'sOnline.com. Real quick, too, Thursday, of course, Cache County School Days, brought to you by A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley for all the young ones' clothing and the toys and the puzzles and the furniture, everything at A Child's World in Burley. Along with Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley for your outpatient surgeries to save you money. Call them at 677-8888. Ambulatory Surgery Center and A Child's World, bringing you School Days in Cache County on Thursdays at 10:10. Ladies and gentlemen, we have rolled out the red carpet. We have hired some of the same British guards that were at the royal wedding and welcomed him down the hallway and back into the studio. He is back from a 3-week European trip. Here he is, Dr. History.
And I rode in on my GMC carriage.
No, you're supposed to say white horse.
Oh, white horse.
Yeah.
Well, it is a white pickup, actually.
And I'm sure you were as enthralled with the royal wedding as I was.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I loved watching their horses. The horses, on the carriages.
There were a lot of the other south ends of the horse running the thing, too. How you
it was
doing?
good. I'm doing good. Good.
A good trip, I assume?
Yeah, it was good. But, it's always nice to get back home.
Oh.
Just nothing quite like home. And
that's how I was in the rodeo business.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be like 2.5, 3 weeks on the road, and I'd say, I want to go home.
Yep, it was time. So glad to be back.
What about the food over there?
Oh, food was great, yeah.
What was your favorite?
I like crepes.
Really?
Crepes with Nutella and walnuts and banana. Oh, yeah.
You can get that at home.
I know, but they taste better over there.
When you went to Germany, did you have any Bavarian cream?
We had some bratwursts.
Oh, in Bavarian cream?
Well, no, not. No, they were like big hot dogs.
I see. They've really got brats over.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
So we had some great food. Yeah.
No energy shortage.
No. On my part?
No, okay. We're going to talk about food today, too.
Yes, we are. Okay. So we're going to start right off, with the soldiers' food.
Back in
the Army days of the frontier.
Oh.
So this is not the pioneers. This is what the Army soldiers.
So they got paid $30 a month.
Well.
And all kinds of delicious 7-course gourmet dinners.
And we're going to talk about that. And it's a good thing we're doing this before lunch. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't. But...
Are you going to say something bad?
Oh, I might.
Okay.
So, the Frontier Army, they actually provided the soldiers with basic food, shelter, clothing, and it was a common joke that the Army's best accommodations were in the prison or the cemetery.
That was the best?
Yeah. But a soldier could get a few luxuries using his own money, but a private's pay was not much. And the enlisted men received a modest one-time clothing allowance and a few dollars to buy necessities. They had to pay for their laundry, their tailoring, their haircuts, their boots, their grooming.
They had to pay for all that?
Yeah, they had to, all the personal items out of their wages. So wasn't a lot that was provided.
Wow.
So, okay, so here we go. Mealtime. Okay.
Yeah.
The men ate together in the barracks mess hall at long wooden tables. You can picture that.
Yeah.
Typically, the mess area was separate from the sleeping quarters and had an attached kitchen equipped with a wood-burning stove, cookware, cooking utensils. Now, in nice weather, the men might go outside to eat because, just be more pleasant.
Yeah.
But the standard issue tableware was basically a tin cup, a tin plate, and they say iron implements, which I'm assuming must be at least a fork and maybe a spoon.
I would hope so.
And they had their own knives, so they wouldn't need a knife.
Okay.
But the soldiers were issued rations, but they had to cook their own meals.
I did not
themselves.
know that. They had to cook?
Yeah. Yeah, so, a lot of times we think they have these special guys that were cooks.
Yeah, the mess hall.
Yeah, and maybe sometimes they were. But here's the way it worked. The cooks were assigned in rotation for 10-day periods. The idea was that the men should learn how to cook so they could prepare their own meals when they were out in the field. So the principle was sound, but the result was that much of the food was poorly prepared. And I say that, yeah. Then again,
underline the word poorly.
Yeah. Then again, the quality of the ingredients was so poor that the quality of preparation didn't really matter that much.
Well, what are we talking about food?
Oh, we're going to get in there.
Oh, I'll bet we are.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Now, in the case of undercooked meats, which could be hazardous, the food itself was not usually greeted with great enthusiasm. Okay, mealtime provided a welcome break from all the work they did, the drilling and all that marching and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but the waiters and cleanup crew, also known as kitchen police, KP,
Yeah.
were likewise assigned in rotation from among the men in the company. So it was a hard job. So once again, the cooks and the people that cleaned up, it was just rotated among the men.
Well, how many people sat down for a meal?
I don't know. I'm just from what I've read, there's some places there was a lot of men, some not so many.
Oh.
I'm going to say as little as 30, 40, 50 sometimes
Really?
in smaller places. Yeah, but they assisted the cooks washing the dishes and pots, scrubbing the table and floors, chopped wood for the kitchen, also for the dining room in winter. But much of the enlisted men's diet consisted of salt beef, salt pork, beans or split peas, bread or hardtack, and I'm going to talk about hardtack, rice, and cornmeal mush, all washed down with really, really strong black coffee.
Now, that doesn't sound bad the way you presented it.
Well, let me keep going.
I was afraid you'd wreck it.
Well, when you're hungry, a lot of things taste good. But the pork and the beef, packed in barrels between layers of salt to preserve it, usually had to be soaked in water for hours to make it so you could even eat the stuff.
It must have been salty as heck.
Yeah, but
not good for a heart diet.
Yeah, but the quality of salt beef often left much to be desired, earning it the nickname salt horse.
Horse?
Yeah.
Like H-O-R-S-E.
Yeah, so salt beef was called salt horse.
Uh-huh.
And I've never eaten horse, and I don't plan to.
No.
But the Army issued salt pork, which was actually bacon, and it was commonly known as sow belly.
Sow
Have you heard that term,
I
sow
have,
belly?
many times.
And it was often kind of rancid, okay?
Rancid, you say?
Yeah. Now, a lot of the post, the monotony and the stomach distress from continual salt.
Stomach distress.
Continual
That is a
salt.
very polite way of saying they had the screaming hurry-ups.
And there was... Now, occasionally they did get some wild game, okay?
I'll
So
bet it was
that was
wild.
help.
Okay.
But depending on the post location, the men hunted buffalo, elk, deer, antelope, rabbit, pheasant, whatever they could get. And
Throw
they
it in the pot.
hopefully had somebody that was a good shot.
Yeah.
But the Army usually encouraged the men to hunt, not only to help their diet, but to practice their marksmanship.
Sure.
And at some forts, however, the men were not allowed to hunt for fear the sound might attract hostile Indians.
Oh, yeah.
So they were permitted to use their sabers to go hunting. Now,
No,
Zeb,
just a minute.
Zeb, I don't know how fast you are with the saber,
Yeah.
but I'm not very fast.
Why did you take your wristwatch off?
Because I don't want to go over.
No.
I got to time this just right.
How would they go out hunting with a saber? I'm assuming they would throw it.
Okay, now let me finish this, all right? They were permitted to use their sabers, and now get this, okay? Carcasses coming into the forts nearly always had saber cuts, usually made to hide the bullet holes.
Oh.
It was sometimes said that the troops were deadly with sabers at a range of 40 yards.
Yeah.
In other words, they shot them, and then they went over and stuck them with their saber.
I see.
To make it look like they chased them down and killed
They'd
them.
have been doggone hungry if they depended on the saber.
Yeah, I mean, you get to lay there and wait for something to run over you. I don't know.
In my case, that happens.
Yeah. So now fresh meat, such as game, might be roasted or fried. Boiling was actually the most common cooking method for salted meat, as well as for dry beans, rice, soup. Boiling preserved the meat. It helped remove the excess salt. Now, I didn't know that, but if you boil it, some of the salt comes out.
You're killing my appetite.
I know. But it also had the advantage of sterilizing the bacon, which was often so old that it had become discolored and rotted.
Oh, my gosh.
Most meals consisted of some form of stew or hash made with preserved meat, often slow cooked overnight.
To all my restaurant advertisers, I'm not guilty
You're
of this.
apologizing. So you can see the benefit of cooking things for a long time.
Yeah, like maybe a week?
Yeah, to get rid of whatever, yeah. Now, the commissary department augmented the meat rations with beans, split peas, rice, coffee, split peas, flour, sugar, salt, molasses, and vinegar. Now, the limited choices made the monotonous menus kind of plain, but company cooks could be creative. One strangely popular dish was a meatball concoction called bombshells.
Do I dare
bombshell.
ask about this?
I'm not even going to go into that.
I see.
For this, okay, I'm going to tell you how it's made, though. For this recipe, 16 pounds of chopped meat was mixed with 6 pounds of flour and some water, along with onions, salt, pepper, and other seasonings. Now, that doesn't sound too bad. The mixture was formed into small meatballs and boiled. A similar but meatless dish called cannonballs, made with the flour and molasses and fat, reportedly could be stored for 12 months or more, sprinkled with lemon juice.
12? That's a year, you know.
Yeah. Sprinkled with lemon juice or vinegar, cannonballs were served to prevent scurvy. Okay, so now you got bombshells and cannonballs.
How did they store it for a year without the spoilage?
I don't know. I mean, I can't
or
imagine.
Did they not care about the spoilage?
Well, I guess the cook maybe thought he'd be gone by the time they got around to using it. I don't know. But you know, the men often complained about their unappetizing meals. Some soldiers gave the Army credit for trying. In fact, it says a good amount of flour was issued to the men as part of their rations intended primarily for bread. So they could somehow figure out a way to make their own bread. Now, most posts had a bakery where the men would take most of their flour ration and exchange it for baked bread. Now, soldiers received a daily allotment of one 18-ounce loaf of bread per man.
How big would that be?
That's not very big.
That's pretty small.
Yeah, I mean, that's just about a pound, which is not very big.
Yeah.
But men from the ranks were assigned to baking details, usually on a 10-day rotation. So the quality of the bread varied at the very rustic posts without a bakery or out in the field. The men had to make do with hardtack. Now, when I was now here we're going to talk about hardtack. And it's not too bad.
Okay.
So hardtack was a prepared field ration. It was a hard, dry biscuit that could be stored for almost indefinite amounts of time.
I don't like that word indefinite.
Indefinite. We could probably find some, Zeb, if we look somewhere.
I'll bet it's still out there.
But the pieces were 3 or 4 inches square and about 3/8 of an inch thick.
So it was kind of like a cracker?
Yeah, really, kind of. Not very thick, about like a big cracker.
Yeah.
But it was made from flour, water, and salt and dough, and had no leavening, and so and it was baked real slowly, so it didn't rise like a cake or a regular bread. But it resulted in a brick-like bread that was
heavy on the word brick,
virtually immune to both crumbling and spoilage.
How'd you chew it?
Well, let me get to that. It was often called pilot bread or pea bread. Hardtack also went by some of the more derisive names such as tooth dullers and sheet iron. So I think you could probably run a wagon over it and not hurt it.
I was going to say, well, you couldn't bite into it, could you?
Well, let me tell you how they did.
You're always saying, let me tell you.
Hardtack was too dense to chew or even to bite into. All right? Some soldiers pounded it with a rock or a rifle butt to break it into pieces small enough to put in their mouths.
You got to be kidding me.
Now, sometimes it was actually soaked in bacon grease or coffee to soften it up, as well as to add a little flavor. So, once again, Zeb, if you're hungry, you're going to figure out some way to get that stuff down.
Yeah, but okay, the Indians are approaching, and you want to have something to eat before the battle. This is going to take like 3 days to eat that stuff.
Just forget it. Just maybe break it up and stuff a little in your cheek and hope by
throw it at the Indians. It's hard enough.
Yeah, it could have hurt them. Now, a soldier's breakfast might be stew, mush, or salt pork with bread.
Mush.
A little over 1/2 pound of meat, sometimes with gravy, 6 ounces of bread, and 1 pint of coffee. That doesn't sound too bad, okay?
Depending on the spoilage of the meat.
Dinner was usually stew with bread, supper, bread, and coffee. The meals were often so nutritionally unbalanced that many men came down with scurvy.
Oh,
they didn't have the vitamin C. Yeah. So the importance of plant foods to health was not really well understood or appreciated, in the early days, and fruits and vegetables were not part of the daily routine. Sometimes this was not due so much to ignorance as to availability. Now, fresh vegetables were hard to come by, of course, on the frontier. Even in summer and in winter, absolutely none. So, to prevent scurvy, many posts actually started raising gardens, which, so they can have some fresh
radishes, lettuce,
tomatoes, everything. They were planted, tended, and harvested by the soldiers, and these post gardens were encouraged and very often successful.
Did medicine and Army doctors, were they aware of what the needs were as far as for scurvy and that?
I think it was beginning to be known, but they just didn't have it available. So I think they knew that it was necessary, but maybe not as much as they should have.
I see.
So, but, there was drought, there was grasshoppers, there was crop calamities.
Don't you dare tell me they started eating grasshoppers.
No, they didn't.
Okay.
But there was things that wiped out their garden.
Yeah.
So now in winter and at posts without gardens, the post commissaries provided desiccated vegetables.
A what?
Desiccated vegetables.
What's that?
I think that's just a way to say they were dried, like dried apples, dried.
Oh. Well, it sounds great.
Yeah, but they were shipped from the east in compressed cakes. Okay.
Oh, that sounds even better.
The vegetables were first dried, both to prevent spoilage and to make them lightweight and easy to ship, then pressed into cakes and packed into airtight tin containers. The vegetable mixture typically consisted of onions, peas, cabbage, celery, tomatoes, beets, turnips, carrots, and peppers. Now, that doesn't sound too bad.
Can you imagine what that stuff looked like, though?
Well, it just looked like dry something or other.
Yeah.
But simmered in boiling water, this unappetizing brick eventually softened. I don't know how long it took.
About a week.
And expanded. The vegetables were often simmered further until they broke down into a thick, delicious-sounding soup. Right?
Uh-huh.
Potatoes, okay? Potatoes also came in a desiccated
Can't wait
form.
to hear about these.
Yeah. The coarse, lumpy powder, which is what the potato was, was mixed with water to make a doughy cake, which was then fried.
Fried?
Yeah. These guys were creative, Zeb.
Uh-huh.
They had to be.
Fried potato.
Fried powdered potato.
Out of this mush.
Yeah. Now, the standard desiccated vegetable cakes were about 9 inches long, 3 inches wide, and about an inch thick, but they also came in a larger size suitable for an entire company. These were a foot square and 2 inches thick, and they weighed 7 pounds. When reconstituted, these giant bricks swelled up about 16 times their original size and produced 112 servings of vegetables.
They say an army moves on its stomach, but if you ate one of those bricks, you'd tip over.
Well, these, quote, flavorless food was not popular with the men. In fact, they called it baled hay. Which you get this bale of whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my.
But
goodness. Didn't they ever have any sweets for dessert or anything?
Maybe with some of the people coming through, some of the wagon trains, maybe.
Pie?
I'll bet they went out and said, "Hey, if you'll just bake me a pie, I'll, please, anything."
My.
But, the soldiers welcomed any relief from their unappetizing and monotonous rations. At some posts, enterprising companies raised their own pigs or chickens. Mm-hmm. And forts near ranches or farms might contract with the locals for fresh meat and occasionally fresh dairy, eggs, and vegetables. In addition, soldiers were sometimes able to trade their commissary rations at the post for foods such as canned fruit and canned seafood.
Oh, no, no. Now, I wouldn't trust that stuff as far as I could throw an elephant.
Now, canned stuff, I didn't realize they did so much canning.
I didn't either. I didn't know they had the capability.
Yeah, but they did. So, from back east somewhere.
And I wouldn't trust it.
Yeah. But at some forts, the commissary sold excess rations to settlers, travelers, and even friendly Indians. And if the company garden produced surplus
If you want to make an unfriendly Indian, just sell him some of that stuff.
But some of this could be sold to the immigrants and Indians, and the money raised from the sales generally went into a company fund, and the fund was used to purchase food and supplies.
Like more dead fish.
Not usually provided. So sometimes they got a little money and maybe could get some, maybe some candy.
Can you imagine what the dead fish in those cans look like?
I like sardines, but some of these items had to be specially ordered and shipped in. Now, here's another one. You're going to like this.
I can't wait.
Canned oysters, sardines, and canned fruit were especially popular. Okay? And I can see that.
I can see the fruit.
Yeah. But fresh fruits and vegetables with a fairly long shelf life, like onions, potatoes, and apples, were usually available at the post stores, and a lot of them actually carried eggs that they were able to, and butter. But unfortunately, however, the cost of freighting these things to these isolated places, it was just too expensive. They were available, but you couldn't afford to have them shipped in.
Yeah.
But for various reasons, the supply of food could be erratic. I mean, sometimes it came, sometimes it didn't. For example, there's a guy there at Fort C.F. Smith in Montana suffered food shortages in the winter of 1867 because severe weather and constant Indian attacks made delivery impossible, but the men had to live on cornmeal.
Ugh.
Now, another problem was spoilage, okay?
Yeah.
Improper preservation, packing, and storage of food led to it getting rancid and moldy and, just bad stuff.
I sure am glad you're painting such a illustrated picture.
I know. Well, you'll have a little time before lunch.
Yeah, a little bit.
But sacks of flour and grain.
I suppose the mice were in there.
Well, I'm getting there.
I figured you would.
Sacks of flour and grain frequently contained mouse droppings.
Boy.
Even dead mice.
Yep.
Flour, cornmeal, rice, and beans often
Can't wait to have a biscuit.
Weevils and worms.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, I'm not done. One more sentence here, Zeb. You ready? If stored in damp conditions, these foods could become riddled with maggots.
You know, really, you've done an awful lot for that diet I've been on.
Okay, just a little bit more here, Zeb.
Oh, I can't wait. Let me have it.
All right. So in some cases, food supplies were already unusable when they got there, and it was not uncommon for unscrupulous contractors to send the Army worthless shipments. Okay, George Armstrong Custer described one episode in which boxes, quote, boxes of bread were shipped and issued to the soldiers of my command, the contents of which had been baked in 1861, yet this was 1867. Sometimes the shipments did not even contain food. The same delivery, Custer reported, included unbroken packages, which were then opened, discovered to contain huge stones for which the government had paid so much per pound according to contract price. In other words, these contractors, they were paid by how much poundage, and so they sometimes just put rocks or bricks in there.
And quite frankly, the rocks sounded more nutritious than some of the stuff you've been talking about.
If you boiled them, they might taste better.
Oh, man. Rock soup.
I think the pioneers ate a lot better than the soldiers.
You know, I can't tell you how much I appreciate this program, so I won't.
Well, you know, after being on a trip and eating so much food that I did, I thought, oh, this will definitely...
Real quick, what country's food did you like the best? Real fast.
Oh, boy.
Real fast.
Germany was...
Germany.
Yeah, Russia was good. I just really... It was...
Really?
Yeah. There was just a lot of good food, and they all had good things.
They all had
really
good things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, I enjoyed it.
Well, I'm glad you're back.
Me
And
too.
I don't know why you had to come back under the curtain of ruining my lunch, but anyway, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Dr. History, God bless you. And I know that you've got it all scheduled for next week.
Oh,
What are we
I
going
do.
to talk about?
Yeah, well, I don't want to surprise you. Or, I mean, I will surprise
You will surprise. You always surprise me.
know it.
Dr. History, thank you so much for
bet.
being on the program. God bless you, and it is really a treat to have you back. Once again, don't forget Airvana, defined as the ultimate level of comfort you'll achieve with the presence of a new Lennox home comfort system. When you buy a new Lennox system at Ramsey Heating and Electric, you can get up to $1,700 in rebates. Airvana is just another way to make you feel better. So call Ramsey Heating and Electric today at 678-0459 or go to their website at ramseysonline.com. Now back to our main studio. I'll be right back.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
I'm going to get right into it because it's absolutely so interesting to talk to my dear friend Frosty Woldridge in Golden, Colorado, and the second part of the perfect storm that's gathering over America. Good morning, Frosty. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. Really excited about this second part today, so it's a pleasure, and I hope that the listening audience gets this program and this four-part series out to the rest of the country. And it's possible that if we understand what's happening to us as a country and as a culture and as a civilization, we can save ourselves, and that is the point of this entire series.
Well, real quick, and then I'm just going to turn it over to you to introduce part two, but I had quite a few calls yesterday, and it was amazing to me that they were impressed with the numbers that you displayed about the numbers of people coming in, the ratios and everything. They were absolutely set back by the numbers that most of the American public's not aware of.
That's correct. These numbers are verifiable. You can go to U.S. population predictions projections by Fogel Martin. You can look that up on the internet. It's very easy. You can go to the U.S. Census Bureau. That'll give you the same numbers that I have spoken about. You can go to the Pew Research Center. That will give you exactly the same numbers. It also will verify that European Americans, also known as Caucasian or whites, will become the new minority in this country by 2042, which is, 24 years from now or so. That at one point, European Americans were 90% of this country, 7% for blacks, and then Hispanics 3%. And by 2042, Latino Mexicans, because of mass immigration and endless immigration, will become the new majority at 51%.
So where do you want to pick up our program for part 2, Frosty? The ball is in your court. I'll let you run with it.
Thank you very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want to make sure that you understand the metaphors that I'm using in this series. First of all, The Perfect Storm was a movie. George Clooney was a star, and he was a fishing boat captain off Nantucket, and he was down on his luck, and his crew wanted to go out and catch the big fish and a whole bunch of fish to have a big payday. Well, that big payday also cost them all their lives because the weather report said that they were going to sail their boat, their fishing boat, into the perfect storm, where the 3 different vectors of a storm front and low pressure and high pressure systems came together where they were going. And as you know, if you watch the movie, even though they knew they were heading into this perfect storm, they did it because they were essentially greedy for the money or desperate for the money. So the same thing is happening to the United States right now. We are adding, from 2006, we are about to add 140 million more people, virtually 100 million of it by immigration and birth rates. And that's not counting the illegal immigration that's coming in. That'll probably add another 20 million besides that at the current rates of illegal immigration. And these are all verifiable. The illegal immigration is coming in at 500,000 per year, according to Dr. Stephen Camarada at CIS.org. Just look it up and see it. You'll see it for yourself. I also went over the Cassandra syndrome. That's where Cassandra was, in Greek mythology, was given the ability to predict the future. And unfortunately, Apollo, the god, was infatuated with her, and then she spurned him. And so then, from that point on, he made sure that no one believed her. That was her curse. And what's going on in America right now is these facts brought out by people like me, research journalists. Nobody wants to listen. Nobody wants to believe it because it's just too unbelievable. But yet these are the numbers, and they're verifiable. And then I talked about Mark Twain and silent assertion. Silent assertion is called the silent lie. And that silent lie is what happened during 1864 when no one wanted to talk about the fact that slavery was wrong, but no one was going to do anything about it, but it was boiling under the surface, and of course it erupted into the Civil War. Well, the same thing's happening now. We're not talking about overpopulation in our country. We're not talking about endless immigration. We're not talking about the ramifications sociologically, environmentally, or quality of life and or standard of living, and yet it is boiling under the surface, and it will at some point come to the surface. Now, I'm going to ask every person in Idaho right now, how would you like to see 10 million more people move to Idaho?
Well, I can't even envision these numbers because, I personally, we're at about close to 2 million now. I'm not going to say we're right at that. I'd say probably about 1.7, 1.8 in total population in the state of Idaho, but another 10 million. And people don't realize this is an extreme happening. It's going to happen.
You're correct. 10 million more people are going to move into Idaho, more than likely within the next 30 years, if not a lot sooner. And you have to understand what's happening in the big cities, the complete chaos.
Yes.
Last weekend in Chicago, 34 gunfights. Yep. I think six were killed. The rest were sticking on life support in the ORs and so forth. The same thing in New York City, and you got the same thing going on here in Denver, Colorado. I mean, there's a murder a night. There's 2 murders. There's 3 murders. As these cities become more unlivable, like Detroit, and you all know Detroit went from 1.85 million. It's now down to 648,000. Why? Because of the violence, because of the schools, because of all of the illiteracy, because no one would even work. and everybody's on welfare. So they're going to start moving, and they're already moving. Colorado jumped from 2 million people to 3 million people in a heartbeat since I've been here in Colorado. Why? Because the East Coast is a beehive, and the West Coast and California is another beehive, and people are sick of the kind of situations that are happening in those arenas, and so they're moving to places like Wyoming, Montana, Idaho. Certainly they're moving into North Dakota, eastern Washington, eastern Oregon. At some point, this is a demographic fact, you will see 10 million more people added to Idaho. What's going to happen to your quality of life?
Well, wait a minute, Frosty.
What's going to happen to your sociological? In other words, the people that are there.
Yeah.
They're not going to be people from Idaho. They're going to be people from all over the world: India, Sudan, Ethiopia, Syria, Yemen, and so forth. So, just put that in your pocket right now and think about it, because that's what's coming if we don't stop mass immigration into the United States. So here goes part 2. Does anyone think the end of the line of immigrants will end? And of course, as you know, as I said yesterday, the third world adds 80 million new babies net gain every year. Think about it. That's a lot of babies. And they grow up and they got to go somewhere. And, of course, the United States grows by 3.1 million people per year. Okay? That's what's happening. And 2 million of that is immigrants and their birth rates. And that's not counting the illegals.
Right.
So in part 2, I started off with Dr. Otis Graham, who wrote Unguarded Gates. And he said, and I quote, "Most Western elites continue urging the wealthy West not to stem the modern tide that adds 80 million new babies net gain annually to the planet, but to absorb our global brothers and sisters until their horrid ordeal has been endured and shared by all. 10 billion humans packed onto an ecologically devastated planet." Unquote. I really hope you understand that quote, because it's going to come more and more into fruition as we continue on our way to adding 140 million more people. And by the way, since 2006, when I did the Paul Revere ride, the 21st Century Paul Revere ride, and visited all 48 states and all 48 capitals to alert the nation on this crisis, we've added 30 million. We're now from 300 million in October of 2006. Here in May of 2018, we're at 330 million, give or take, because we probably don't have the information on all the illegals here, which is another 15 to 20 million, and they don't want to be in the census, and they're all hiding in the shadows. So you can see this thing is bigger than most people can understand. And this was all created by Teddy Kennedy and Howard Metzenbaum and Jacob Javits when they gave us the 1965 Immigration Reform Act that jumped our annual immigration from 175,000 to well over 1.2 million every year, annually, and that's what added, with the birth rates, the 100 million, because we were, in 1965, about 194 million people. And now we're 300 million in 2006, and we're now 330 million, and within 32 years we'll be 438 million, on our way to 625 million people within the next 80 years.
Frosty, let me, if I can.
As a matter of fact, Idaho will probably have even more than 10 million added to Idaho.
Let me just jump in for a quick second.
This thing, Zeb, is that the American family and the women of America chose from 1970 2 children or less per woman. That's why we would have stabilized at 255 million, and we would have had a reasonable, stable society. But our Congress critters, your 2 senators, and of course the House reps across the country, gave us the 1965 Immigration Reform Act, and no one has rescinded it since. It just keeps on growing.
Okay.
So as you see this, and of course I've shown the graphs before. You can go to my website. I've got the graphs on the website, FrostyWoolridge.com. You can go to my Facebook page, but you'll see all those. But what does it look like? What does another 140 million people added to the United States look like in the next 32 years? Well, it means that the 35 most populated cities will double in population. So New York City at 8.3 million will hit 16.6 million. Chicago at around 5 million in the outskirts will go to 10 million. million. Los Angeles at 11 million will go to 22 million. Houston from 2 million to 4 million. Denver, Colorado from 2.5 million to 5 million. States like Texas will jump from 26 million to 36 million. In fact, Florida right now with 18 million is slated to double to 36 million people. Virtually all of it created by mass immigration. So you can see, if you just play that out, 35 more cities, Cincinnati, you can go on Atlanta, you can go Miami, all of them are going to double. I mean, Fort Worth, I mean Dallas, I mean Houston, I mean San Francisco. Does anyone understand what the doubling of all these cities means? It means you got to have a doubling of water. You got to have a doubling of use of coal and energy and gasoline. Is anybody listening today think we're going to be able to survive that? And then the question is, Zeb, how do you water, feed, house, warm, educate, and find work for that many people?
You can't. Now, let me jump in. Let me jump in a minute, Frosty. Frosty, just a minute. Wheels, turn me up. Just a minute. We have a caller with a question. I need to get this caller in real quick. And caller, keep your question very short. Go ahead, please.
Well, Starbucks is finding out what it's like to have open-door policy, and it's backfired big time. California is our future. And if you don't know about California, go take a trip down there. You're surrounded by homeless. You're surrounded by tweakers. You're surrounded by illegals. And it's chaos. It's chaos. And if you think you can hide from it, you better wake up, because they're coming our way here to Idaho. And we're the last bastion of practicality and logic. And we better save it. I'll hang up.
All right. Frosty, respond to the caller, please.
The caller is exactly right on. There are in excess of 60,000 people in the streets of Los Angeles right now that are American citizen they're all veterans, that are living in tarp tents, blue tarp tents, nylon tents. The defecation problems are incredible. The poverty problems are incredible. And how do I know? Because I've ridden through it on my bicycle when I went through there on a bike trip just 2 years ago, and I'm going to be going down that West Coast again this summer to see it and document it. And you can go to my Facebook page. You can go to any Facebook pages, and you'll see what those tent cities look like. They've got 10-minute videos. Go on YouTube. And the fact is there's 4 million illegal aliens in California, and that's the minimum that we even know about, and they're breaking the schools, they're breaking the medical systems, they're absolutely having anchor babies by the tens of thousands, and we're paying for it. And at some point, all of the California people that are American citizens will be headed for Idaho, and will be headed for Wyoming and eastern Washington and Oregon. This thing is going to affect everybody. So the caller is right on the money. Essentially, California is our fate if we don't stop mass immigration. Okay, so let me go on. Now today, we already have 7 states with water shortages here in the U.S. Then you have to, and you want me to name them off? I can name them off. Georgia, big problems already. Florida, major problems. California, major. Nevada, big problems. Texas, certainly New Mexico, and certainly Arizona. So count that up, and how are they going to just manufacture more water? At some point, you don't have enough water. But then you got to talk about arable land. There's not enough arable land and enough food that you have arable land to grow crops on, enough water to irrigate that. So that's the crisis. Now, here's another one that everyone doesn't understand, but is in my book, America on the Brink, the next added 100 million Americans. It's called ecological footprint. An Ethiopian in Africa uses 0.4 acres. In other words, 4/10 of an acre to grow and have his outhouse and a little hut. But when an Ethiopian comes over to America, and again, we've got them coming in by the tens of thousands, we've got Africans coming in by the hundreds of thousands, we've got, again, 1.2 million coming in every year legally. They hit this country, and that ecological footprint now jumps to 25.4 acres. If you add just 100 million people times 25.4 acres that they're going to destroy to put in housing tracts, put in, more food, arable land gets plowed up, forests get cut, the extinction rates go up, that comes out to, by 2050, we will have 2.54 billion acres of land will be destroyed to literally support all of these people coming to our country. That should scare the pants off of everybody listening to this broadcast today. Think about our country destroying another 2.54 billion, B as in boy, billion acres of land just to take care of all these people who keep adding 80 million new babies net gain. In other words, they can't or they won't access birth control, and so there's no end to the line, and no matter what we do, as I said before, those two incredible videos, Immigration Gumballs and Poverty by Roy Beck, get it on numbersusa.org. And then, of course, Immigration Off the Charts is a 10-minute video. If every American saw those two videos today, they would call for a rescinding the 1965 Immigration Reform Act. They would call for a wall on the Mexican border to stop the unbelievable invasion of our country. So you now know what ecological footprint means. There's also an energy footprint. There's also arable land footprint. You can imagine there's a water footprint. There are limits to everything. And again, exponential growth cannot be supported. It cannot be sustained. It's the growth modus operandi of a cancer cell. So, Dr. Al Bartlett, a friend of mine who just died 2 years ago, said, and I'm quoting, "Can you think of any problem in any area of human endeavor on any scale, from microscopic to global, whose long-term solution is in any way, demonstrable way, aided, assisted, or advanced by further increases of population locally, nationally, or globally?" As you can see, as the numbers go up, our quality of life and standard of living will go down, and everything else will go down as to communities, as to cohesiveness as a nation, and you name it. And here's the crisis, Zeb. Once these numbers land on us, once this next 100 million immigrants lands on America, there will be no solutions. Now, as I said in my deadliest birth rates for all humanity, India is going to hit 300 million by 2030. Did they do anything? Nope. And today they're 2.5 billion of those Indians and still growing, and we'll hit 1.55 billion by mid-century. We hit 300 million by 2006, and we're still growing at 3.1 million annually. I can't say this enough. We will be, again, 438 million by the time 2050 rolls around.
Okay, now we have, wait a minute, Frosty, wait a minute, I got to get in here. We have exactly 2 minutes left. Watch your clock on the wall and kind of give us a summation about part 2 this morning. I've got a commercial break coming up.
Okay, the summation of part 2 is the ecological footprint. You're talking about the water shortages and arable land shortages. You're talking about resource shortages. And on part 3, we're going to talk about the sociological impact for the perfect storm that's going to face all Americans. And I don't care if you're red, white, brown, yellow, or I don't care what your religion is, I don't care what part of the country you live in, you will be adversely affected by the perfect storm, and part 3 is really going to shake your timbers when we talk about it tomorrow.
Let me just make one statement here and then wrap it up quickly, is that we're basically facing a chicken and or the egg problem. Whether the chicken regards people or whether the egg regards food, we can't have both. We can't have many, many millions more coming into this country and still keep them and sustain them with food, can we?
No, we can't. And that's why right now, if you look up, 4 million children starve to death every year, and 8 million adults around the world. That's 12 million people are already starving to death. If we continue plowing into this perfect storm, we too are going to be literally seeing massive poverty and massive problems in this country. And in fact, 1 out of 6 children right now has food scarcity problems. Our food banks are literally going broke, and our soup kitchens are going broke because of our own poor here in the United States of America in 2018.
Gotta go. You know, it's an excellent report, a 4-part series put on by my dear friend Frosty Woldridge. And time is of essence. I've got to run today, but don't forget to tune in tomorrow for another segment, part 3 at 10:30. 10:30 tomorrow morning right here on Zeb at the Ranch. And thank you, Frosty Woldridge, and I'll call you later on this afternoon. Thank you so much.
I'll be here, Zeb. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Excellent. And he knows the numbers, and the numbers don't lie. We've got a problem here in this United States, contrary to what the Democrats are telling us. Let's have a weather forecast real fast, brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657, or you can go to their website, www.scarrowsmeats.com. Absolutely the most delicious of meats, whether it's the prime ribs or the smoked hams, or all the different breakfast bacons and sausages and the bratwurst. It's delicious. Absolutely Don Scarrow and the crew at Scarrows Meats in Jerome. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Here's your weather forecast for this Tuesday, and we are expecting partly cloudy skies for today. However, this afternoon, maybe some storm action, slight chance of rain showers, thunderstorms. Hail and gusty winds are also possible as the storm cells move through our area. We are expecting a high of 72. Winds could gust as high as possible as 21 miles an hour. Scattered rain showers and thunderstorms for tonight with a low of 51. For tomorrow, that's going to continue. Chance of showers and thunderstorms off and on throughout the day. Mostly cloudy skies with a high of 71. That could continue for tomorrow night with a low of 51. By Thursday, slight chance of showers in the morning and also by the afternoon, partly sunny skies. High close to 80. Thursday night, 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms with a low of 52. And then for Friday, sunny skies and 82. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina, and brought to everybody by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Number to call, 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Hey, by the way, we've told you a couple of times already this morning, big Memorial Day sale at Redder's Showcase, 2611 Overland and Burley. It's going to be tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and a special day on Monday, Memorial Day, hours 10 to 4. 6 months, same as cash on approved credit, all the Maytag, Whirlpool, Amana, KitchenAid, and the mattress gallery with Serta and the bedroom sets, everything. Oh, you get in there and check it out at Redder's Showcase, 2611 Overland in Burley for the big Memorial Day sale, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and special hours on Monday, 10 to 4 at Redder's Showcase. Big program tomorrow. We've got Dave Bego. We got the Pacific Legal Foundation coming on. Megan Barth, very, very interesting lady, is going to be on at 10:06. And then part 3 with Frosty Woldridge at 10:30 tomorrow morning on illegal immigration into this country, what its effects are going to do to America. I want to also say thank you to our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. Get ready for a road trip, and when you do, check out all the great tires, all the different tread designs, and you can stop into any one of the 7 locations for a free pre-trip safety check on your tires, your brakes, your wheel alignment, your front-end components, shocks and struts, batteries, all of this and more. They want you to get where you're going safely and turn around and come home and be safe. Don't forget to stop in today. Any one of the 7 locations, Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley, the best, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Got to run for today, and of course, tune in tomorrow morning at 8:06. We'll saddle the horse for 3 hours and ride till 11 o'clock right here on Zeb at the Ranch. And always remember this, the way things were are the way things ought to be. See you tomorrow morning.